easy way to remember it, just think of a bag of crap.
Oh, yes, indeed. You're damn right. It is the crap bag. Technically, crap bag number 4 here on Orange Bloods Live. And it's part of the show we don't want to do today. And the rest of it is crap we always love to talk about. But we'll get into a few things in the crap bag today. It is the RIP to Ugga show. We're talking a little Royal Rumble today. Hit some birthdays at the end. Some of my favorites have birthdays. And the Longhorns have a D-line coach. There's your big headline of the day. Texas fans, Kenny Baker, not the guy that was in the R2-D2 costume. That's a different Kenny Baker. Kenny Baker, the assistant D-line coach for the Dolphins, is going to be the D-line coach for Texas. How do you find out more about that and get more reaction to it? Modcast is this afternoon at 4 o'clock with the fellas. And tonight is War Room Night at orangebloods.com. If you've been thinking about it for a long time now, you've got a dad, a brother, a sister, a mother, somebody that's a Longhorn freak in your house. It's a perfect time to get them an orangebloods.com membership. Get them a subscription. Get them in right now because signing day is less than 2 weeks away. It's a perfect time to get in on orangebloods.com. So go ahead and get that done. We've got the chat fired up, already ready to roll. Somebody jumps in the chat, not the first in the chat, but I am the first to like. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Two Broke. Appreciate that. Somebody's getting caught up trying to figure things out. Somebody's finding out that our man Blake, the super producer, is moving on in about a week or so. Can't get to that sadness yet, but yes, that is happening. That is happening. Somebody asking if I've checked out the Vince McMahon stuff. No, I have not. That's not the wrestling I want to talk about today. We'll get into some Royal Rumble. I got to double check on all that. You know what I want to talk about today? First off, there will be a little wrestling talk with our first technical crap bag guest, Suplex Stu. He's coming on. Stu Myrick, one of my favorite people in the world. He hosts Sports Guys Talking Wrestling and has been doing it for years. He's my favorite pro wrestling fan in the world. He's going to come in. We'll break down a little Royal Rumble coming up. He's the guy that organizes the Royal Rumble pool that I'm in. So you got to stick around for what numbers I'm excited about, right? That's coming up about 10 after. But mainly today, I want to talk about this dude. I want to talk about the great Ugga 10, who has now left us. I missed this the other day. I missed the fact that Ugga had passed away. Texas fans, you're 158 days away from the SEC and joining in with one of the coolest things about college football. It's those live mascots. And y'all know because Bivo and Ugga got together for a classic moment in 2019. And don't worry, I'm going to break that down fully in a little bit. But rest in peace to Ugga. Ugga was not only Ugga 10, but he was about 10 years old. And a couple years ago, my dad and I got to go to Georgia, and I grabbed a couple picks from 2019. How big a deal was Ugga? They put his stats on the scoreboard the day before the game as we're just walking around. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And look at his record at that point. You see that? They call him Q. 48-14 that day. That means from that point to now, when he retired in 2022, he went 43-4, starting with that game against my Aggies. Good Lord. 2 national championships, 2 SEC titles, and 7 New Year's 6 bowl games. One of my other favorite things about Ugga, how well they treat him. Throw him in that house. Look at my man in that house. Look how comfortable he looks in that house. And look at the respect next to the house. You see what's on that girl's hat? She's not a Georgia fan. That's an Aggie. That's an member of the Aggie crew, because dog lovers know dog lovers. Animal people know animal people. You got to show the respect. Also note in this picture, there's a plexiglass door to close him in if he needs it. If the weather is so bad, and this is that time of year, you see this is November with the date. This is when it rains like crazy sometimes in that part of the world. It rained for the whole first half of that game, so Ugga's got to be protected. They put bags of ice in there for him if he needs it. He is an absolute legend of the game. I threw it out today in the House Divided. Y'all let me know in the chat if you agree. To me, the Mount Rushmore of the live mascots is Ugga, Bevo, Mike the Tiger, and Ralphie at Colorado. Those are the 4 that I would go with. Obviously, for personal reasons, me being an Aggie, yeah, I want to put Reveille in a discussion, but I don't think Reveille is Ugga. I don't think any dog mascot hits the level of Ugga. He is a badass, and it was cool to go and check him out at Georgia. So later on, we will get into the full breakdown, because I know you Longhorn fans like to talk about that moment in 2019, and I do too. But I think sometimes we miss the point of that moment and how incredible it really was. And we'll get to the heroes later, because today I want to count them up. I want to count how many people, we know how many dogs won, but how many people did the hero of that day really save from serious Bevo damage? We're going to count them up today. We're going to run the video. I'm going to do a little play-by-play, crap bag play-by-play for you, because I think the hero of all heroes is in there, and you may know who I'm talking about. I call him Left Horn Guy. But he had some friends helping him out, and some people avoided major damage. We'll get to that a little bit later on, but let's jump into the chat and get into this. Hey, what is this? I don't see it in the chat. What is this? Okay. All right. Oh, this is Blake's talking to some of the chat folks. People asking where Blake is going. Blake's got another opportunity that he's going to be taking. We are sad about that, but yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Chris says wrestling talk automatically makes this my second favorite on show. Okay. All right. There you go. Fair enough. Okay, Chris. Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll get that. Let's see. Here we go. We're getting any in. All right. So we're going to clean those out. Remember, any super chats, we'll go right to the front of the line with there. Let's get to a little mascot discussion. Kind of like the Houston Cougar from a few years ago. I remember one time the Dr. Pepper Bear Baylor walked by the Cougar cage, and the Cougar looked like he was ready to kill a bear cub. That's a good one, Phil. I was just talking to Blake, the super producer, about it. When I was a kid, Houston still had Shasta, full blast Shasta, the Cougar. And I think at home games, they would have Shasta out there in a cage. That was impressive, but didn't really bring her out, I don't think, on the road. He or she. I'm assuming that was a she. I don't know. And then Mike the Tiger, they used to bring Mike the Tiger in a cage down to the foot of the tunnel of the opponent. I don't think they have done that in a while. I've had LSU fans tell me they'll do it for special games or certain occasions, but I don't think they let them do it anymore. Texas fans, whenever you do find yourself in the SEC and you want to go to Baton Rouge, make sure you go check out Mike the Tiger. It is a full-blown zoo quality enclosure. It makes no sense, and it's so damn cool. So we'll get into more of that discussion. There's a lot of stuff going on mascot-wise today. So we will say goodbye to Ugga and fully break down what happened with Ugga and Bevo back in 2019, 5 years ago. Can you believe that? It's already been 5 years since that happened back in 2019. That is absolutely crazy. All right. So if you are looking for something to do this weekend, and you know Sunday is championship games, and you're thinking, well, what am I going to do? These last few Saturday nights, there's been something to watch. Prime time NFL action. I would ask you, does the performative part of you, does the entertainment part of you remember the Royal Rumble? Well, it's coming back. It's back this Saturday night. Not a Sunday event. I like it when wrestling goes Saturday, because then I know I'm not going to work the next day. That's good stuff. Saturday night for a Royal Rumble. Who better to be the first technical crap bag guest on OB Live but Suplex Stu. Stu Myrick himself, live from the wrestling lair. What's up, brother?
What's up, my man? How are you? By the way, you talk about Ugga. Of all people, Jake the Snake Roberts came up to me at an event and loved the fact that Bevo went after Ugga. So,
you know, Jake would love that. So,
yeah.
Speaking as a man who knows how the crowd can pop for a live animal, right?
He does.
That is good stuff. It's good to see you, brother. And I know you're excited for the Royal Rumble. So I will stay away from. I've had people in the chat today asking if I've heard all the updated Vince McMahon stuff. I have not. So we won't get crazy salacious.
I just saw it, and I could give you the Cliff Notes version.
Okay, maybe at the end. Let's start with the positive.
No problem.
We'll start with positive stuff. I'm going to make you the booker today, and you help me out with a little Royal Rumble. I'm watching Cody Rhodes and CM Punk going promo for promo the other night in the ring, which is good. Both those guys can certainly hold their own. If you were going to book this thing, and I told you you're either going to book one of those two guys to win the Rumble, or you're going to book somebody from the field, what do you think? What do you think you'd do?
All right. Well, full disclosure first, I have a connection with the Rhodes family. I work for Dustin Rhodes and his Rhodes Wrestling Academy. I'm the voice of the Rhodes Wrestling Academy. And I know Cody. I've had Cody on my show countless times. So I love him to death. I was at WrestleMania 39 last year in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium. It was, to me, it was a slam dunk. Cody was going to finish the story. He was going to beat Roman Reigns and walk out of there with that Universal title. Then it didn't happen. And I'll be honest, and I'm standing on the stadium floor. We're getting ready to go in the press conference, and I am pissed. I texted Dustin, said, tell Cody he's my champion, all this good stuff. So now we come to Royal Rumble 2024. It'll start the road to WrestleMania 40, which happens in Philadelphia in April. If it's me, if I go by my pure what I want to see, Cody wins the Rumble. He gets the rematch in Philadelphia against Roman Reigns, and this time he wins. CM Punk, meanwhile, assuming Seth Rollins' knee is doable, which we'll see, he's got a partially torn MCL and partially torn meniscus.
And that would be a shoot. That's a shoot injury, correct?
That's legit. That's a legit.
Shoot. Yeah. Okay.
It was thought he was going to have to go under the knife, which would have taken him out of WrestleMania. He's going to rehab it instead, see if he can make it a go. So as of right now, I would say CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Cody Rhodes wins the Rumble, gets Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship.
Gotcha. Okay. So having thrown that out there, I think those are two guys obviously to follow in the Rumble. But now, how do you mix in The Rock jumping in the ring and making the head of the table reference? A lot of people think that was supposed to cook up a Rock Roman Reigns WrestleMania match. Is that what do you think about that happening?
Yeah, I heard that too. And when I heard it, it made my heart sink because I want Cody to finish the story. I love The Rock. Don't get me wrong. And of course, now he is at least at the table. Now be a board, member of the board of directors for TKO Group, the parent company for WWE.
Yeah. Did you see, Stu? Did you see he got The Rock back? I mean, not back, but he now officially owns it.
He owns his moniker that's been copyrighted by WWE forever and ever and ever, and now The Rock owns that.
Stu, seriously, your whole life, you ever heard of Vince giving somebody a trademark? I don't know if Hulk Hogan owns his name today.
He did let Cody have his name.
Did he? Okay.
So remember when Cody left WWE for, back in 2015, 2016. He had to, he was working in Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor, and he had to just be the American Nightmare Cody. Couldn't use Rhodes, whatever. Then, 2018, All In happens. The Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, do the big event in Chicago. I was there. It was a fantastic event. Of course, that was the catalyst for All Elite Wrestling, which he founded with said Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Tony Khan, son of Shad Khan, who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. And somewhere in that first year of AEW, he got his name back. So he could go by Cody Rhodes again. So It hasn't happened. It's been very rare that happens.
Yeah.
But once in a blue moon, yeah, you'll hear somebody get their name back. Now, nowadays, you'll see wrestlers trademark their names before they if they even if they're planning to go to WWE, they'll trademark their names ahead of time. That way they keep them no matter what.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. All right. So yeah, keep an eye out for that Rock. Is it Rock Roman? We don't know.
There's the a lot of it is a lot of people are saying it's going to be the Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I say that match does not need a title.
Yeah. How about this idea? Somebody says, can we not do Rock versus Roman night 1 and then Cody versus Roman night 2? Make Roman go both nights? Wow.
I've heard that theory. I don't know how I feel about that. Just because as much as I love Cody Rhodes, Rock versus Roman is the bigger match. I have to be honest.
Yeah, no,
So
it is.
you would have to do that. Now, there was some talk. So after Royal Rumble, you got Elimination Chamber coming up in late February in Perth, Australia. Allegedly, when WWE worked out the deal with the government of Western Australia, there was at least a request to include Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So when this came about, there were some people that saying, okay, maybe Rock versus Roman at Elimination Chamber.
A chamber, I see. Okay. Now, one of the chatters.
I don't think that's happening, but
okay. Also,
it's a possibility.
Too Broke to Pay Attention says, I would book Cody to win the Rumble, have Punk win the Elimination Chamber, set up Punk versus Rollins and Cody versus Roman or Randy at WrestleMania 40. There's a lot going on there, Too Broke. I like that. Now, to that point, Stu, there is correct me if I'm wrong here, the Fatal 4-Way match that's going on at Royal Rumble for Roman's belt. We know we know Roman's belt is not going to come off of him until you and I are both dead. But any thought of how do I ask this question? I mean, there's no way they're taking the belt off of him. If they did at the Royal Rumble, what would make sense to you for those other 3 guys?
Oh, good God. I mean, there are scenarios you could pick any of the 3. AJ Styles, he's doing this. Not necessarily a heel character, but it's kind of like for people that have been watching AJ Styles going back to when he was in TNA wrestling. If you remember the Lone Wolf AJ Styles, this was during the battles with Aces and Eights and stuff. He's doing a little bit of that, so that I could see. LA Knight has been hot. He's cooled down a little bit, but look, LA Knight could easily carry that title. I think that would be a great option. I'm a big fan of LA Knight. I'll going all the way back to when he was Eli Drake in TNA. Then you got
it'd be great if you take the belt off Roman after 1,000 days or whatever it is for LA Knight. That'd be fantastic.
It would be awesome.
The crowd would lose their minds with excitement.
They really would. And I'll be honest, I think at this point they'll lose their mind for anybody taking the belt off, because I think Roman's at something like 1,200 and something days.
Right.
So he has surpassed San Martino's second reign.
Okay.
So the only 3 longer reigning champions ahead of Roman Reigns are Hulk Hogan, Bob Backlund, and then Bruno's first reign.
The first time.
18-year,
when they really didn't take a belt off a dude.
Right.
Forever. Yeah.
Randy Orton, sure, that can be done anytime, and and for that reason, I don't think Randy Orton. I asked on my show, I put out the question of who takes the pin. We know Roman's winning, but who does Roman pin? My guess, it's AJ, just to further the dark side, shall we say, of AJ Styles.
Gotcha. By the way, talking to Stu Myrick, he is Suplex Stu. Check out Sports Guys Talking Wrestling every Tuesday. It is out there if you want to follow along on Twitter at SGTWATX, at Stu Myrick on Twitter as well. A great follow. Stu's got all kinds of things going on. Stu, give me a name or two if you're booking the women's Royal Rumble. Who do you think's about to get the push and head to Mania?
Boy, there's a couple of good stories. There's Becky Lynch, who wants to main event WrestleMania again. Remember, she main evented WrestleMania 35 in that triple threat with Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, where she ended up with both women's titles.
Mm-hmm.
That was in New York. She wants to get back to that, to that perch again. There's been talk about Bayley being an odds favorite. There's been some machinations about Bayley separating from Damage Control, and then she would go after Io Sky and her title.
Remind me on the titles here. There's 2 women's titles, and Rhea Ripley's got one, and who's got the other?
Io Sky.
Sky's got the other.
Io Sky, formerly known as Io Shirai in NXT, and previous to that in Stardom and several other Japanese promotions.
And she's a part of Bayley's group?
Yes, she is part of Damage Control. It's Damage Control right now. It's Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Asuka.
And they put Asuka in there. Right. Yeah.
So
her turning on someone feels right. She's a good heel. Like Bayley.
Well, that's the thing. I think there are at least whispers of trying to turn Bayley babyface again. And then again, like I said, go after Io Sky, go after her title. I think it's going to be, whichever one of those two, if Bayley wins, it'll be Io Sky at Mania. If Becky Lynch wins, it'll be Rhea Ripley at Mania. Whichever one, I think those are the 2 women's titles matches back of, whichever one wins the Rumble, we'll see. Nia Jax is also, I think, up there. There are a few others. But I would say, and a lot of people have been saying this is probably the most unpredictable Rumble that we've had in at least recent history, because there is no clear-cut favorite. Brock Lesnar's supposed to be coming back.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So,
that's good.
Now, I don't think you have him win the Rumble. A lot of people are hoping it'll be Brock Lesnar versus Gunther for the IC title. I think
that's an interesting idea.
Fantastic match.
That's a great idea. Here's a better idea. How about Brock Lesnar at number 30 in the Women's Rumble? Yeah, now that'll get him talking. That'll get him talking.
That'd be interesting.
That would do it. Stu, before I let you go, let me ask a quick question, kind of outside of that world of wrestling. But in addition to doing some WrestleManias, I know you've also been to the Super Bowl a few times. As we get ready for championship games and knowing it's in Vegas, what do you think is the matchup that'll get us the craziest Super Bowl week in Vegas?
Oh, man. I got to believe if Kansas City finds a way to make it there, then obviously with the Taylor Swift and all that good stuff,
I think that's good call.
That's gonna be interesting. As far as the NFC side, I'm not sure it would matter too much if it's the Niners or if it's the Lions. I think most everybody outside the Bay Area will probably be rooting for Detroit just because it's a Cinderella story right now. The ironic thing is, and this is one of those misnomers about Radio Row, and I've done 9 of them. Whatever happens on Radio Row, it's actually separate from the game. Because Radio Row, we get actors, Hall of Fame football players, broadcasters. Yeah, it's everybody. I've talked to Kevin Harlan, who does the radio for Super Bowl every year, one of the best in the business. I talked to Kurt Menefee last year in Phoenix. Fox had the Super Bowl last year, so talked to Kurt Menefee. I've talked to Joe Mantegna, the great actor. He had a Broadway production coming out, and he was involved with that. So whatever happens with the game, Radio Row, and you look at Vegas, I can only imagine the guest list that's going to be in Vegas because it's Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be good. It's going to be good. I think Kansas City, Detroit, where you got Dan Campbell on one side, you got Taylor Swift and Kelsey on the other, and Mahomes. I think that might be the matchup that gets us the wildest Vegas, but we'll see what happens there. That is Stu Myrick. Again, Sports Guys talking wrestling every week. If you're looking for a great wrestling podcast, Stu, let's make sure we dial up that Rumble with the right numbers. I got 2 and 29 in the pool this year. I'm feeling good about both of them. I need somebody out of one of those spots to go win them both. Can you do that?
You know that it's possible. We've had winners out of both in the past. So
yes.
The last two men's Rumbles, it was number 30 with Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes. I don't think number 30 wins again. I think it'll be another number. 2 and 29. That's a possibility.
Like it. Let's do it. You tell Dustin Rhodes, get word to Cody, who gets word to the Power, that 2 and 29 are the key numbers, brother. Those were the ones. Great to talk with you, man. Thank you for doing it, and enjoy the Rumble.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
That's Stu Myrick, everybody. The one and only Stu Myrick, Sports Guys talking wrestling. It is a fantastic podcast if you're into the wonderfully crazy, nerdy world of pro wrestling. And look at these chats that came in while we were talking. Good Afternoon Crapheads was there, but we also had this one. My daughter's a big wrestling fan, made the mistake of scheduling her birthday dinner during the Rumble. I think AJ takes the pin if Roman wins. This says, after growing up in the Attitude Era, it's hard for me to get into wrestling now. Jay Ward, I can understand that. I fast forward through a lot. I do not watch a ton of things. There's a lot going on. This says, I got Lesnar as a surprise entrant of sorts, and having him square up against Gunther. Do WrestleMania 40, Gunther versus Lesnar for the IC title. Brock has never won the IC title before. That is an interesting thought about a match. How about this match? Somebody wants me and Catch buried alive. The buried alive match. You know what? If it's me and Catch, I don't know that we need to make it buried alive. I don't think we can get to that point. And our man Chris says maybe the WWE will get a little more edgy when they go to Netflix. That is happening. All right. Thank you for allowing the crap bag to talk a little wrestling. It is, after all, the Royal Rumble coming up. All right. Let's get back to our main point of the day, our main issue, and that is the Rest in Peace show. Let me throw him up on the screen real quick before we break down the video. This dude has left us. Ugga 10 is gone. And of course, Longhorn fans, you have a special connection to this dog because this is the dog that Bevo went after, got freaked out by, whatever it is, right? So I'm going to try to, hang on, I got to share the screen first, right? There we go. Let's do that part first. Let's see if the old man can figure it out. Sharing screen. We seeing this, Blake? Are you seeing it? You see my man?
We got you, Chad.
Beautiful. All right. So here we go. We're going to go through this. This is the moment. We're in the Superdome. As you can see, we're like an hour before kick. First off, this notion that Ugga somehow attacked Bevo. I want y'all to look at Ugga's face. This is a second before Bevo makes his move. Ugga is just like licking his lips and just try. And now watch how fast he realizes, oh, good Lord, I'm out. You see that? First off, my man did a good job of pulling him away. Ugga is on his way to safety. And here comes Bevo, and he comes down, and that was sort of the end of the thing.
I think Chris Nelson's right in the chat. He said Ugga had no clue. I think so. I think Ugga was looking at the ground the whole way, and then he kind of sat back, looked up, and went, oh, shit.
Well, let's also go back. First thing Ugga notices, remember, I mean, dogs' eyesight is not fantastic. It's not color. They think they see in black and white. And obviously, he's got a low vantage point. First thing he sees here, Blake, is not Bevo. I think he sees the flying woman. Watch the flying woman here. Boom. That's what he sees. Yep. Mm-hmm. He saw the woman fly by, and he's thinking, what is going on? And then eventually, it's Bevo. But of course, let's focus in on the hero. This is your hero, kids. Now, I'm not saying this dude didn't do anything. We'll get to him. There's another guy on the other side, but this guy saved a lot of people. This is left horn guy. I don't know his name. I need to find it out because I do know my man Ricky Brennish. Shout out to Ricky if he's out there. Ricky is a Silver Spur from way back and became the director of the Silver Spurs, the group that deals with Bevo. But left horn guy is the guy that saves the day, and we're going to show you why. Okay, here's our upshot. This is really where you find out what happens. So this obviously is Bevo. Here's Ugga down here. Here's Ugga handler. Ugga handler not quite paying attention. This is the moment when Bevo starts to get a little riled up. Now you see, here's my man left horn guy. Look what he's doing right now. He's starting with the hand. He knows the first step is just a little bit of, hey, whoa, let's see. But he realizes very quickly that we're going to something else. Now, look at the pullers. See puller number 1 and number 2? They realize, okay, boys, Bevo's about to go. But the key is left horn guy. Left horn guy realizes Bevo's making his move. See this lady right here? She is in trouble. And this is Flying Woman. She's in black. She's about to go flying, but she hasn't yet. These two people are in major trouble if nobody does anything. But watch left horn guy. Boom, right there. See that? There's your contact point. Once he grabs, I don't even know how they train these guys to do this, but he knows if he grabs that horn, he can control Bevo to a degree and see if he can save people, which he does. This woman here is number 1. Watch her get literally bumped on the head by the horn. Boom, right there. And then Bevo goes over. But because of left horn guy, look where Bevo's head is. He's turned, he's facing down. My man's got Ugga out of the situation, right? So we're to 1 dog and at least 1 woman saved, right? He has saved this woman. And here's Flying Woman. Now let's watch. Flying Woman is an incredible little journey in physics to watch. Watch Flying Woman. I think she just literally starts to trip and her brain says, we're going this way. Whoop, now she's gone. She flew all the way over here. That's Flying Woman right there. She flew that far out of the situation, Blake, but that's where she needed to be. She's out of the situation. That's 2 people and a dog that he saved. And we'll go ahead and add Ugga's handler. That's 3 people and a dog that have been saved by left horn guy. Here's the next one to look at that I had not noticed, Blake, until now. Photographer guy. See this dude here?
This is the guy who came out afterwards and was complaining that he got hit and there was a big deal about it.
Yeah.
I think Jay Ward has already nailed this in the chat. This is 100% his fault as he is sitting on the ground with his back to Bevo, like 5 feet from the fence.
Yeah, he's trying to get a great shot because he's done what we all do, Blake. He's fallen for this one because the live mascots are awesome. We put ourselves in unsafe situations with them, and we just assume that the Silver Spurs can handle themselves, which, by the way, they can. No one got hurt. How did nobody get hurt in this situation? It's unbelievable that nobody got hurt. But my man he did make contact. In fact, I'll show it to you from this angle because you can see it. Watch carefully, photographer guy. Here he is. Watch the horn. Watch the right horn. Boom, right there. He gets poked just a little bit, but nothing serious. Nothing serious. Why? Because left horn guy is pulling Bevo around to save that dude's life. So here he is from this angle, and now watch him. He realizes, okay, I got to go. I got to go now. If left horn guy is not there, Bevo gets a full-on, like, Spain bull ring shot at this poor bastard. But he doesn't. Look at him. Look, see, he turned him right there. So all he got was a little bit of the right side.
Now, Chad, you got to keep in mind, this is the guy. He filed a lawsuit after this. He sued the handlers because they said they mishandled it because he got hit by the horn.
Yeah, see, and again, right afterwards, you're going to freak out about that. My man needs to understand how bad it could have been. It could have been so bad. So bad. Also, you know who else it could have been bad for? Watch this moment right here. That is another key moment. In fact, they'll just show it from this perspective. Watch this moment here, right here from Bevo, and stop. See that back left leg? See this dude? If left horn guy isn't controlling Bevo's head, do you know what happens to that guy? That guy gets kicked by one of these 2 legs because Bevo was getting ready to go. He was getting ready to fire, and because he couldn't move it, because they had his head under control, watch what he does. Step and stop. He had to rebalance himself. Otherwise, this guy goes boo into that guy. And then they both fall on the ground. So that's another person. Now we're up to 4 people, maybe 5 people, because look at this too. What happens if they don't redirect Bevo? Look where he's going. That's Flying Woman. This dude's in big trouble. Make that number 6.
Mhm.
That guy's 7. The golf cart's going to get totally effed up. We're up to about 7 folks now that got helped by our hero.
That horn just narrowly misses him.
Right? Just barely.
That angle catches it perfectly.
And it's because those dudes know what they're doing. The Silver Spurs were incredible. This person right here, no clue. Let's watch her story. She realizes, oh, what is going on? What is going on? We get her out of the way right there. If he doesn't turn Bevo even further, she's in big trouble. My man in the tie and the beret, apparently, he's in trouble. That's about, let's put that up at 8 to 10 folks. And what's this? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're up at about 20 people, I think, that have been saved at this point.
Yeah, Left Horn Guy is a national hero. And he needs to be a future guest of the Crap Bag.
Dude, at some point I got to talk to this guy. It's incredible. So now, and then they get him under control. So bottom line, I think on this thing is we first need to get rid of a narrative where Ugga was somehow asking for anything. Let's not do that. Let's not do that to Ugga. I don't believe he was asking for any of it. That's not fair. But Left Horn Guy is still incredible to me. 5 years later, just to know to do it. I have no idea how you would think, to react like that. And that nobody got hurt. And we were able to have Lowell Galindo and the crew that was on at the time of Longhorn Network. They got to have fun with it. Chris Fowler had fun with it. Other announcers had fun with it. And it's because those guys reacted like that.
That's a guy who's been around cattle a bunch his whole life. He grew up around them. He was comfortable reaching out and just wrestling that horn the other way.
Yeah. He knew somehow.
He'd done it before. He'd done it 100 times out on the ranch.
Yeah, because they know the difference between Bevo's kind of going to go and Bevo's going. And you could tell the difference there. Rest in peace to Ugga. One of the last images that probably went through that dog's mind was when he saw Bevo make his move. We'll never really know what it was that got Bevo fired up. Because the other thing I'm going to say in that story, I don't think any animal person did anything wrong there. I don't think because the handler for Ugga didn't pick Ugga up, carry him towards Bevo. That's not what happened. Let's put Ugga on his back. No. They didn't do that. And then, and the Bevo people weren't trying to do some kind of photo op. It was just a weird circumstance that came together. Something got Bevo interested, and he made that lunge and took off. And the fact that nobody got hurt.
It's crazy that he even saw Ugga, considering how small Ugga is, how tall that fence is, and where Bevo's eye level is.
Yeah.
The fact that he even saw Ugga, I guess out of the corner of his eye.
Yeah, it's wild.
Or smelled him or something. I don't know.
I still don't fully get that one. And for all those people that are like, oh my God, why would those people be that close? How do they let this be that close to Bevo or whatever? For years, when I was in radio and we were down on Bevo Boulevard, I had one of the best vantage points of Bevo ever. And I'm one of those people, obviously, y'all know I'm here at Orange Bloods Live, yet I'm an Aggie. But see, the thing is, I'm an animal lover. That's the bottom line. I don't disrespect these live mascots. It's what makes college football college football. And I grew up spending all my summers out on farms. My grandparents had farms. I was raised around. I was scared to death of cows when I was 4 or 5 years old. There's a famous story of my granddad putting me on one side of the fence, and I crawled under the fence. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And because I didn't know that there was a fence between me and a bunch of cows. And they had to teach me about cows and how to deal with them and how to be around them and all that stuff. So I've always had that respect. So the fact that Bevo has those horns like he does, the first time I saw them pull that trailer up and unload that bad boy on San Jacinto right in front of DKR, I was like, woo, y'all get on me about blinking. There was no blinking that day. Like, what in the world is happening? But y'all have been down there. If you've seen it, you line up up and down, because that's how crazy we are about the mascots. You do the walk, the team walks in, but there's nothing that gets me more than when they unload Bevo down there. They used to do it right in our vantage point when we were doing pregame, and I'd say it on the broadcast. Bevo is on the street. He's on the ground in Austin, Texas. I loved it. I would do the little videos the last couple of years of Bevo walking in. The fact that those guys could keep him under control amongst all of those people is just incredible. So shout out to Ugga for being Ugga, and Bevo. Actually, we got a little shot of Bevo here, right? Because Bevo had a birthday this week, I believe. So we say rest in peace to Ugga that was around 10 years old. Bevo just hit 9 this week. Look at that beautiful animal. My God. And just looking at him there, Blake, he's out in the middle of that field, right? If I'm the person that took that picture and he just slings his head the wrong way one time, I get stabbed in the face.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. But you're also in Bevo's element here. So he's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
He's not going to make a quick move. Like, he's just chilling. He's in his area. But in New Orleans with a million photographers and people around, he wasn't in his element.
No, he wasn't. And he got a little jittery. And those silver spurs, man. Left horn guy. I got to find out who he is. Yeah, we gotta have him on the crap bag and celebrate him. But it's so cool to me that iconic mascot Bevo is going to be headed into the SEC. And hell, I'll even say it, even though it's not like one of my favorites. That chuck wagon thing Oklahoma does, that belongs in the SEC. Let's be honest. You mean you're going to throw a bunch of people on a chuck wagon and drag it out on a field? That sounds pretty SEC.
The only reason it's great is because it's fallen over twice now.
Yeah, that's true. When it falls over.
That is the best moment.
That is the best. So yeah, it was sad to hear about Ugga, but that's one of the reasons I wanted to go to Georgia. It's another reason those mascots are important to me. And obviously I'm a dog mascot guy, but if you have a live mascot as yours, I think you have that appreciation for him. I went to Athens partially to see Ugga. When my dad and I went to Auburn, we talked about the eagle flying and we got to see it. And it was the bald eagle and it was badass. And it's just check it off your list. And if I ever go to a Colorado football game, there's only going to be one reason why. Ralphie. I want to see Ralphie run live. A couple years ago, A&M played Colorado, but I didn't want to go to the game because it was at the Broncos Stadium. I don't want to see Ralphie run in an NFL stadium. No. I want to see Ralphie run under those mountains. And now I could see it with Dion on the sideline. That'd be pretty cool, too.
I got a question for you, Chad.
Yeah.
If you could choose one animal that is not currently being used as a mascot to represent your school next year, what would you choose? What animal?
Okay, so I got to go outside. No, so a non-dog is what I have to do.
Well, anything that's not currently used as a mascot in college football, anything.
Okay, so there was
polar bear, a lion.
Boy, yeah, that's
a giraffe.
If you're going the giraffe would be wild. If they could contain that one, can I get a giraffe enclosure on the campus? That would be fantastic. That would be great.
Just standing behind the goalpost so it's distracting the kicker.
Yeah, that would be good. The giraffe would be good. I'll tell you the one idea I've heard for A&M, because a few years ago when they changed Reveille's, because I think we're on Reveille 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-ish, somewhere in that range. But there's actually nothing that clearly states that it has to be the rough collie, which I didn't realize that. It can be a golden retriever. It could be a lab. There's a couple other things. But the idea I heard, and I'll shout out Rod Babers, who I used to work with, Longhorn great. And Rod almost ended up going to A&M and loves R.C. Slocum and has nice things at times to say about the Aggies. His idea was great, and it's to use service dogs. And I think with A&M's military connections, that would be a cool idea, where every time you need a new Reveille, you go to a service dog. You literally have a dog that is being retired from like the police department or retired from that kind of service to be A&M's mascot.
That's like, cool
I thought that was a cool idea. But from the pure like crazy standpoint, I think you might have said it. If you could figure out a way, I don't know if you had, I don't think anybody trains polar bears, but if you are up in the north and you could have like a polar bear as a mascot, that'd be incredible. College Station probably wouldn't work as well. That probably probably wouldn't be good. So yeah, those are the ones that would immediately
A sloth.
the koala or the sloth.
A sloth would be hilarious.
That would be excellent. That would be
if you
excellent.
could get a monkey that just like hangs from various areas of the stadium.
Ooh, that'd be good. Like a trained.
Yeah, trained. He's just like hopping around. You got an overhang. He's just going across.
Ooh, doing tricks and stuff. That's an interesting idea. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. I'm trying to imagine that. Do that in College Station.
Or if Hutto could get a hold of a hippo.
Ooh, good call, Cotton. That's a good call. That is one of my favorite mascots in Texas. I love that one.
That's a great one.
And then the great story, the circus comes to town. The circus comes through town on a train, and a hippo got loose and ran through Hutto, and that's why they're the hippos. Like, those kind of things are just awesome. So shout out to those live mascots. 158 days from now, Bevo will officially be a member of the SEC and get to have all those, Ugga memories come back. All right, before I wrap up the crap bag here, couple quick things. Again, the Royal Rumble coming up on Saturday. This week in birthdays, John Belushi had a birthday this week. Go check out some Belushi Saturday Night Live style if you want to see that. Since we did talk Royal Rumble today, today's the Honky Tonk Man's birthday. I love it when the wrestlers get old because it means they got old. There's too many tragic stories. Honky Tonk Man up in his 70s. Michelle McCool, Mrs. Undertaker, if you will. She has a birthday today as well. One of my favorite Aggie basketball players, AC Law, has a birthday today. Tomorrow, must be in the front row, Bob Uecker will hit 90 years old, and I think he's still doing home Brewers games. That's awesome. Awesome. Happy birthday to Bob tomorrow. My favorite baseball movie is Major League. And if you haven't seen it, kids, you need to check it out. One of my favorite tough guys, Jack Youngblood, will have a birthday tomorrow. And it's cool that I had Stu on today because Stu is the reason I've gotten to talk to Jack Youngblood a couple times because he's always, for a little run there, he was at Radio Row for a couple years talking about all kinds of things in football. He's a badass, one of the toughest guys ever. Literally played, kids, with a broken leg. I think he broke it in the divisional round. And then he played the rest of that game. He played the championship and then played a Super Bowl with a broken leg, major bone broken. And he just told him to tape it back. Happy birthday to Jack Youngblood tomorrow. Eddie Van Halen would have had a birthday tomorrow. Rest in peace. And Saturday, one of my favorite comedians, Patton Oswalt, has a birthday. Happy double nickel to Patton. And a so long, unfortunately, to Coco Gauff in Australia. She lost in straight sets to Arina Sabalenka, who now has won 13 in a row. Do I have that right? Yeah, 13 in a row in Australia. Sabalenka going for her second straight Australian, and it would be her second major. Australian Open rounding out this weekend, too, if you're into such things and want to check that out. Speaking of checking it out, like, subscribe, and get your notifications to Orange Bloods Live. This afternoon and tonight are huge. This afternoon at 4, the Modcast. Longhorns do have a defensive line coach. If you miss the name, so have a lot of people. His name is Kenny Baker. I'll make the Star Wars joke every time because all I ever think of is R2-D2. But no, there's a Kenny Baker in the NFL. He was an assistant D-line coach with the Dolphins. Vic Fangio gets fired, I believe, yesterday. But instead of going with Vic Fangio somewhere, this guy is going to end up at Texas. So some Longhorn fans are thinking, wait a minute, you get rid of Bo Davis and this is the guy you get? You were thinking about Rod Wright, but this is the guy you get? Michigan's D-line coach might be available, but this is the guy you get. The guys are going to have that conversation. They've been on the phones checking with sources throughout the afternoon to find out what the heck is this what is this hire? Does it make sense? Do you trust Sark? Do you trust Sark that he's making the right move? Is this really the move you need to be making headed into the SEC? All of that conversation coming up at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So make sure you get your notifications so you will know when the Modcast fires up. Remember, Modcast now Tuesdays and Thursdays. Regularly scheduled Modcast, 4 o'clock, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Plus, tonight we do have an Outsider show at 9 o'clock. Last night, Greg Swindell got Chance Mock to show everybody the tattoo of a Longhorn that's on his backside. That literally happened. That actually happened. So we do have some fun on the Outsiders. It is a What Are You Drinking Wednesday, so that sometimes can happen. Tonight, it's the Thursday edition. We'll pick the NFL games, the championship games. Whoever loses those picks has to do a power hour of drinking, and it might be with some Four Loko, which could get really weird. So tune into the Outsiders tonight at 9 o'clock as well. Thanks to everybody who jumped in the Specs chat today. Why don't we give you a little Specs love, because they are your place to get stocked up.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
Last night on Outsiders, I cracked open a bottle, not literally on the show, but I was sipping some Howler Head whiskey, the banana-infused whiskey. You might have seen it advertised on UFC. It's pretty good. And I picked up a new bottle at Specs, the new location out there on the toll road in Pflugerville on 130. That old Best Buy is now a new Specs, and it is big and spacious, and it's got all kinds of good stuff in it. So get on out there, check them out. Thanks to Specs for being a great partner. Thanks to all of you for being with us. And thanks to Blake, the super producer, for his great work. We are going to take his great work as long as he can give it to us. And we will wish him the best when it's time, but not yet. We're not getting emotional yet. Thank you for all your support of Orange Bloods Live until next Tuesday at 2, when you get crap bag number 5. I'm Chad Hastings. This is the crap bag. Now you know what's going on in my head. See ya. Ooh, I could even end the show. Can he end the show?